All right, I don't really know how to start this video off, but quite a few years ago I started trying to do a YouTube channel, thinking, maybe one day I could be like one of them cool car YouTubers and live the dream and all that. And so far, life has had a lot of other plans. Now I am gonna upload this video for the first time in a long time, and I'd love it for anybody who watches this to hopefully enjoy working on cars as much as I do. But I'm really doing this for I got two twins, well, of course two. I have twins on the way, and even if I don't get more than 2 viewers to ever watch this, I want them to have something to kind of look back on, and kind of see later in the future. So with that, I'm going to introduce the car that I'm going to start working on, so that one day hopefully we can take Sunday rides and maybe go do some cool stuff with and have fun, and they can look back and think of all the good times we've had with it. So without further ado, I introduce it's very green. This here is a 1974 Mercury Comet with the giant ugly front bumpers. Oh, missing a tooth on there. It's got some tires are fresh. Had to do that to get home. Got some I think that used to be metal once. A few more spots. It's very, very green. Got the big old butt bumper on it too. But overall, it's been a pretty cool little cruiser. So a little backstory on this one, I have none. Except for this was obviously kept in the garage for a large number of years. I found an old insurance card from like '93. Lady's name was Agnes. She must have really loved this car. The guy I bought it from was friends with her son, I believe, and got this as kind of a package deal, some old pickup that she had in the garage. He didn't really have any plans to do anything with this. Kind of just got it out of the garage, and a few months later ended up passing it on to me. But since then we went and kind of did a vice grip garage style, like drove down there on a whim, picked it up. Guy said he couldn't get it running. Said he could get it running if he put some gas in the car, but couldn't actually get it to stay running. So I went and looked it over and tapped on the tank and found out that the gas tank was dry. Put some gas in it and away we went. So we've already put about miles on this old girl. Everything is super original. I mean, it's still got all original power steering. Windshield washer still works, which is absolutely wild. It's got all the original, like the AC pump, just original air cleaner, original everything. I mean, even the spark plugs are, Lord knows how old those things are. They've got to at least be 30 years old. The wires aren't super brittle yet, but they're definitely, they're definitely old. Somebody's been tinkering a little bit. This fuel pump looks newer. There are some brake lines on this that looks newer. I mean, somebody was maintaining it, but as far as these cars go, it's as original as it gets. Overall, I've got quite a bit of rust on the like the bottom here, and a little bit on the bottom quarters and the fenders and the bottom quarters, but we'll see how it goes. There's not a lot of rust on the floor pan, so hopefully the rust repair won't be too atrocious on this. But also just an absolutely mint interior. I've got some stuff in it from driving around, but no rips, no tears. Plastic's in good shape. A little tear on the headliner here, but nothing sagging. Even the dome light cover's still on there. The visors are all good. The dash is absolutely immaculate. The horn worked once. I want to get that working again. I don't know if it froze up after the first time I hit the button. But driver's seat, again, no tears in the seat. The carpet while it was originally this color green. So looks way better than you'd expect for a car that's 50 years old. All the wood trim on the doors. Dash is all not scratched up. There's one crack up top side here, but you know, old car problems. AC vents, everything still works over here. The lights work, the washers work, fan works, everything works on this. The heater core could use a little bit of work, but other than that, she's been pretty clean. And like I said, I've already taken it down the road at extremely sketchy speeds for something like this, and it seems to love it. So the game plan for today is to kind of I'm going to keep working on it to make it a little bit more of a driver. I want this thing to be able to go down the road good and solid and feel safe while doing it. My wife and I will be taking a trip to Florida this winter, and I want to be taking this car down there. We'll probably trailer it behind the RV, but once we get down there, we want to tool around in this thing and have a good time. So I'm going to start with like basic maintenance items. Most pressing is that this valve cover gasket, especially up here in the front, leaks like an absolute sieve. I think it's been doing about a quart every 150 miles, which is obviously very much not ideal. But got a new valve cover gasket for it. Got new plugs, new wires. Didn't get a new cap and rotor, but I will clean that up as I go here. I'm not gonna monkey with carburetor. It's been running pretty good. If we put all that on, it doesn't run a little better, then I'll tinker with that afterwards. I guess before I get into the actual working on it, could use some exhaust work too, but I think we'll fire it up and give it a couple of revs just for fun, just so you guys can get a little taste of the old Comet in its natural habitat. Doesn't take much to warm it up. However, I did drive it from that corner of my yard over to here, so not exactly a cold start, but close enough. I went a little cold, but there she comes. Coming back to life. Just kind of sits there and chugs along. Sounds like a tractor, just like all old Ford 6-cylinders should. Pop that muffler off and put a glass pack or something in there and make it sound a little better. One day when this thing is driving right, I'm gonna be setting it up for probably like a small block Ford or something. I think I'll keep it automatic, keep it kind of true to the car, but throw a small block in there and have a little more fun with it. But overall, it's a runner, it's a driver. It's been a lot of fun. All right, before I shut it off, guess I'll give it just a couple little sprinkles. And there's the old door buzzer. Just a beautiful, classic, I mean, cheap car when this thing was new, but you can't replace the feeling of something this simple and clean. And even with the straight 6, it sounds amazing. All right, so don't know if I'll get this all done tonight, but at least we'll get started on it. Come over to the wife's vehicle, take a little look at the parts. We've got one cork valve cover gasket, quite possibly the longest gasket I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's literally the size of my leg. So we'll be putting that in first thing, try and stop that oil leak. Got a brand new air filter for it, for the original air cleaner. Pretty excited about that. Got some new, what do we got in here? Got some new V-belts. Make sure those things last. I'm sure the ones that are on there are from forever ago. Got some engine degreaser. That's going to be a must. Get this thing kind of cleaned up a little bit. I got some more parts around the side here too. Yep. New brake shoes for the rear, and only for the rear. I have plans for the front, so we'll be doing a little bit of upgrading right away on those. The wife says she's going to ride in it. Needs to have good brakes, so can't stick with all the old drums. Got wires, got oil filter, got plugs. Not here with me, but I got a fuel filter for it, and of course some fresh oil for once we get that leak all sewed up to hopefully go more than 100 miles without adding oil to it. All right, with that, I think I'm going to start on the valve cover gasket. I may not show all of it, but as I'm going along, I'll probably clue you guys in once or twice with what I find and how it goes from there, so stay tuned. All right, quick little update. We are mid-process here on the valve cover gasket, and this thing was a little bit tricky to get out of here with all these lines are running over top, that bar is running over top. This transmission kickdown linkage was running over top. We got all that taken care of, and we could definitely see right here is where the oil's been pooling up, and I already chucked the gasket. But from here to here on the valve cover, you could see where the original gasket that was on there wasn't like compressed, where the rest of it was all compressed. And looking at the valve cover, I think that's because it was actually bent a little bit on that corner. I tried smacking it with a hammer a little bit, and then with the fresh cork gasket, I think it'll take up the difference. I'm not trying to put a bunch of money into this motor just yet. I think in all reality it'll get ripped out, but it probably won't be right away. So I just want to make this thing a good, solid running and driving thing, but I'm not looking to put fancy valve cover gaskets or anything, or valve covers or any sort of like go fast parts on it. But just because we're not trying to spend a bunch of money on it doesn't mean we can't spruce it up a little bit. I've got some black engine paint, good to 500 degrees. And a little bit of clear gloss to go over top of that. I'm going to paint the air cleaner and the air cleaner, paint the valve cover. I know it's not traditional Ford blue, however, they're kind of getting rusty and crusty, so any coat of solid color would be amazing on it. Over here, we've got, my wife is working on cleaning these up so we can get it painted real quick, but just a preview. Where'd you run the valve cover gasket to?
On the radiator.
On the radiator. Okay, I'll come back for that. But we got the inside and the outside starting to get cleaned up here. I'm not too worried about them hoses. Let's see the cover. Scrub-a-dub-dub. I guess the valve cover is over here by the car already, drying off. Oh, there, I see it. All right, my stockpile of parts. Okay. And this right here. I'm gonna take this gasket out, spray it down with a little bit of brake clean to kind of get this thing nice and degreased fully. And we'll hit it with some black. Doo-doo-doo. Oh no! Come on, Kent. This is way harder when you're watching it through the phone. All right, I'll show you when it's done.